All right, y'all. I might even be able to finish this whole saga in this video. I don't want to rush it, but we'll see how long this thing goes. So, get the girl on the bus back into the Six Hells over Texas, or Six Flags over Hell. The groups are still there, standing around. Excuse me. Nothing going with Kathy yet. People were just getting very, very antsy because it had been almost half an hour at this point. We're just all kind of standing around, People getting very antsy. More people are grumbling. Trying to keep the groups together was an absolute nightmare. I just spent my whole time just counting my heads. And every time I looked over at Janet or Debbie or Elsie or Beth, they were doing the very same thing. Just, everyone's doing this. And trying to keep them round up like sheep, And all of a sudden, I get these really bad chest pains right in the middle of my chest, right? My chest just starts, it was like it was on fire, And thought, oh shit, this isn't good. So I said to Janet, Janet, I don't want to alarm you, but I'm having some pretty bad chest pains right now. And I said, right there, you can see there's the little first aid station. You had a big red cross on it, I said, if I had to go, I'm going to turn my group over to you, and I'm going to go right over to that first aid station, all right? She's like, okay, John, just calm down, keep yourself calm, breathe, get your breathing right and everything. I said, yeah, okay. And no sooner did I say that than Kathy calls, John. They've got us. They've got us. Go ahead, start taking the groups out. I was like, oh Christ. My chest still hurt, but it was like this huge weight had just been lifted off my shoulders. Okay, everybody, let's go. I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's the first thing we do. Go to the bathroom. I want some ice cream. Anybody else want something to eat? Yeah. I rode one ride, and that was to get on a roller coaster. It was more like a kid's roller coaster. It was like the mild roller coaster. And that's it. I spent the next several hours taking people either to the bathroom or to get ice cream, French fries, food, That was it. But the night was rather uneventful after that point. Almost anticlimactic, really. So we get out of wrap the whole thing up. 11 o'clock, park closes anyway, so we rounded our people up and headed back out toward the bus. Still, just freezing cold, and that wind was just horrific. And I remember getting to the bus, checking in all of my people and everything, and everyone else was checking in their folks. And I remember Kathy saying to me, our director, now, if you recall at the beginning of this saga, I said the only reason that I went on this trip in the first place, as I never went on the out of town trips, the 5-day trips, I should say, because I was always back and I ran the drop-in center because I could do everything. Had all the contacts with the board and the bank and the police and the security and and I could still feed everyone lunch downstairs and all that. So I never went on these trips, but I wanted to go on this one because I wanted to see the special 12-month-long John Lennon exhibit at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's the only reason I went. So, we're getting our folks on the bus, and Kathy comes over to me and she says, "So, John, I guess you won't be coming on any more trips, will you?" I said, "No, Kathy, I won't." We got back to the hotel half an hour later, 45 minutes later, whatever it was. And people pretty much went straight to bed. I got my guys bedded down fairly quickly, and, teeth brushed and meds taken and all that. And got them in their pajamas, and, off to bed they went. And us staff members kind of had our little surreptitious adult beverage to help us sleep. But it was the last night, and we were all happy, and already thinking forward to the next morning when we got on the damn bus for the last time and got the hell home. You know what? I think I will just roll on into this and finish this video. Finish this story. Saturday, September the 15th. Had breakfast in the hotel. 9:15 in the morning. We loaded that damn bus for the last time. Whew. I knew we were going to have a rest stop on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Headed east. But in my mind, it was next stop, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. God almighty. And it was about a, I don't know, 6-7 hour ride, something like that, from Cleveland to Harrisburg. Anyway, on the bus, Kathy comes up to me and says, "John, did you apologize?" Now, y'all need to remember back to the big event with the little girl that I didn't know anyway, and how Kathy insisted that I apologize to her before the trip was over and all this. And I told her I'm not going to apologize, Kathy, because I have nothing to apologize for. She attacked me on a personal basis, and I'm not having it. So Kathy comes up to me on the bus and she says, "John, did you apologize to her yet?" I said, "Kathy, I told you I wasn't going to apologize to her." "John, is that how you still feel?" "Yeah, Kathy, that's how I feel. I'm not going to apologize to her." So she threatens me again. "John, you will apologize to her before this trip gets back to Harrisburg, before this bus gets back to Harrisburg." I said, "Kathy, I don't know what part of this you don't understand. I'm not going to apologize to her. I have no reason to apologize to her." And I said, "And if this is going to cost me my job, so be it." But the funny thing was, folks, well, I was deadly serious in what I was saying, but I also knew that Kathy would never fire me because I was the one that did everything she was supposed to do. I was the reason she was making all that money, I made her look good. I did all the fucking work. She just signed the papers. And half the time, I signed them for her anyway. I was so good at forging her signature. And she would just call in the morning from home and say, "Oh, I won't be in today. Just sign those letters for me and get them out." Okay. So I knew I wasn't going anywhere. But I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. I just knew that I was not going to apologize to that fucking little girl. I was not going to do it. Anyway, fine, great, everything's fine and dandy, right? Somewhere along the line, the girl comes up to me. John. Yeah. I wanted to say I'm sorry for how I talked to you. Okay, all right. I accept your apology, and I'd like to apologize to you too. I got a little out of line myself there. But you know, you really did make me angry, and you should never get up in somebody's personal business like that. You know that, right? Yeah, yes, John. Okay. So I stood up and I said, "Give me a hug." Well, it was more like, "Give me a hug," and I reached down like, okay. So she went and sat down, and I kid you not, I look up to the front of the bus, and Kathy has turned around and she's going. So, okay, got that shit off my back, right? Okay, so we stop and we have, oh, baby, here, 1 second, folks. Come here, baby. Here, Petey wants to say hi. You gonna say hi to everybody? Yeah. I gave him a haircut here about a week ago. Yeah. Little baby. Yes, okay. Beat it. I'll be right with you. He wants to go out. Anyway, stopped at rest stop on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Hung out there, let everyone use the facilities, and gave out meds, and had a little bit of lunch. Great. Next stop, Harrisburg. Fine. Oh my God, I was never so happy to see a "Welcome to Pennsylvania" sign in my life. And then when we got off 81 South onto Front Street in Harrisburg, I mean, the excitement was building in me, and building and building and building in me. And 3rd and Clay Street, Rite Aid, pull in there. Everyone starts exiting the vehicle, and some of the group home folks, there were vans there waiting to pick them up, and they loaded them up, and there were some people that had private transportation. They still lived at home or whatever. And I was literally the last person off the bus. I make sure everything is in order. Nobody has left any big messy trash, or just make sure the bus is empty. No one's left behind coats, gloves, hats, anything. Last person on the bus, last person off the bus. And I did, folks. Not ashamed to admit it. I climbed off that bus and I kissed the ground. I fell down to my knees and I kissed that dirty parking lot at Rite Aid at 3rd and McClay Street in Harrisburg. Yes, I did. And I waited till everyone was loaded and on their way. And Ellis had come to pick up Elsie and I. It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. And hold on, Petey. And he had come to pick Elsie and I up. At that time, Elsie was just living around the corner from us. She had an apartment just around the corner from us. So he picks us up. Get back home to Middletown. I take a shower, calm down a little bit, put on some fresh clothes, and my mind began to loosen up a little bit, and I began to absorb everything that had just transpired over the last 5 days, starting from September the 11th and all the way now to the 15th here on Saturday. And all the things about America and what was different in the world now because of the events of 9/11. What happened in New York and Washington and Pennsylvania. I began to kind of process all that. Anyway, I said I'm going back to Ellis's, and I'll tell you why. Because I knew Ellis had a big bottle of bourbon up there. And got to Ellis's and I said, would you please pour me a highball? Pour me a highball, please. Just bourbon and Coke. And I sat down at this kitchen table and he poured it for me and brought it, and I took a big slug out of the glass and sat it back down and absolutely just collapsed into uncontrollable sobbing and heaving and crying, and I had my head on his table and I was I just let it all everything just poured out of me, all the stress and tension and fear and everything that I had experienced that week. Trauma, really. I had been traumatized, and still had to maintain myself as the leader of the group, you know, and I'm telling you folks, it was the heaviest week of responsibility I've ever had in my life, and I don't think I'll ever have to do anything that big in scope ever again. Knock wood, really, because you know I was a lot younger then, and I'm old and older, and I'm not as strong as I used to be, physically or emotionally or mentally, whatever you want to say. So I how something like that might kill me at this point. But anyway, thank you all for bearing with me in my recounting of this saga. It was important that I do this because, like I say, I started these videos because I had been asked repeatedly over all the years by my friends and my family to tell these stories yet again and again and again. So I thought I'd just put them on video, and you know, my loved ones could kind of watch them at their leisure. And so y'all, my comic book community, have just been kind of along for the ride, but I do appreciate the true and real interest that a bunch of you folks out there have shown. Your attention to my saga means a lot to me. It's obviously a very personal tale, and anytime you can recount events in your life that are very significant, and people you don't even know can find them intriguing and one dare say entertaining, that's special. So thank you all for bearing with me. The end of the series. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, Petey, we're going out. Yes. We'll go out. Let me turn this camera off.